All right, Drew, I want to go over the AVCR with you real quick. It's a little complicated, so I figured this might be helpful for you when you're setting your boost levels on this car. Right now, it's in the screen for your start duty. The start duty is pretty much your gain set for each individual gear. So first, second, third, fourth, fifth, these are your gain settings for boost for each individual gear. So in first gear, I have it set at negative 50%, second, negative 50%, third, positive 9%, fourth, 0%, fifth, negative 15%. Now, normally when you set your boost, you do it in fourth gear, and you want to work your other corresponding gears around your kind of baseline fourth gear. So that's why I have fourth gear at 0%, and then third and first and second, everything's different. First and second, you're probably always going to keep it at negative 50% just because of traction issues. You don't want to have a bunch of boost. You don't want to be running 18 PSI in first and second gear. You're just going to break the tires loose. You can't go anywhere. So I always change the gain down to negative 50%. And what that means, the negative 50% and positive 9%, all that stuff, just means it's a 50% reduction from the map that you've set, which I did my baseline in fourth gear. So you're adjusting it by that amount. So setting A is kind of the street setting. We look at boost duty. Here, let's go from the main screen. The main screen is monitor, which is you can set your channels 1 and 2. I just have it 1 and 2. 1 and 2 channel is your boost and your RPMs. Boost, revolutions, select. So boost, the car's not on right now. It's at negative 16, and revolutions per minute is 0. Okay, so we turn the car on here. Boost, negative 449 millimeters of mercury. Okay, millimeters of mercury. It's different from this, which is in PSI. So this is a redundant gauge. This is, also is a boost gauge as well, and your RPM is right here. Okay, so just hit the previous button to go back. Previous. So we want to be in monitor. So we want to look at settings. Turn this off. So settings. Setting A, or you can go to setting B, just push the over arrow here, or you can also turn it off by pushing the left arrow. Left arrow will set it off completely. That'll just run wastegate pressure, which is set at about 11 PSI or so. That's whatever the wastegate is set at, the spring setting is, which is about 11. So you go to setting A, and then you can go to next and select your boost duty. The target boost is 1.25 kilograms per centimeter cubed. It's very close to bar, but it's not quite. It's a weird, goofy, metric measurement of boost, but it's very, very close to bar. So you can think of it as like 1.25 bar. You'll be pretty close. Duty, it has these asterisks here and a percentage sign, because if you go to duty, you'll see that it varies depending on RPMs. So I've got several different RPM points. I have one from up to 3,500. My second RPM point is from 3,500 to 4,000, then 4,500, 5,000, 5,500, 6, 65, and 7. So pretty much what the boost controller is doing is checking to see what its boost targets are at corresponding RPM. So at 4,000 RPMs, the duty cycle is set at 59%. That is the duty cycle for the solenoid. It sounds really complicated, but you pretty much want to, it's trial and error a little bit to try to make sure your duty cycle is set properly to hit your target boost. It's all manual inputs. You can do it purely on automatic if you want to, but the boost may not hit quite as hard, and it might be fine. I've always done it manually, but you can put this in full auto mode if you want to. Right now it's set up for manual. So anyways, click on boost. The target boost is 1.25. Now again, you can change your boost target levels depending on whatever RPM. So if 7,000 RPMs you want to hit 1.718 1.8 bar, you can certainly tell the boost controller, hey, I'm going to command 1.8 bar right here. Try to do it. Now you're going to probably have to change your gain at that level and raise it way the heck up to try to make it reach that target. And I don't really see any reason why you'd want to do that, but pretty much you want to just hold a steady boost level throughout the RPM range, okay? And that's why in the gear duty, you want to change your gain settings lower and lower gears, because that's what makes more sense. Is you want to have less boost in lower gears, and then your target boost, or your normal boost in like third gear and up, is really what you want to do, because in lower gears you just can't run a lot of boost. Learn gear is already set. Start duty. So you go back down to this. So back to the beginning. So setting A, select next, and you scroll down to start duty. Okay, so that's option number 6. So first is -50%, second is -50%, third is 9%, fourth 0%, fifth is -15%. The boost setting at 1.25 is kind of right around like 19 psi or so. I think that's pretty safe. I don't know if you're running 91 or 93 octane out there. You can always try to raise it up a little bit if you want to go, 21, 22 psi if you're running higher octane out there, which is fine, but then you might have to go and mess with your gain settings and everything else, which is boost duty. So the duty, so if you wanted to go higher on this, you go, okay, boost, I want to command 1.4 bar instead. Now you're gonna have to go to your duty and probably have to adjust some of these things here. That you'll probably have to raise some of this stuff up a little bit, although it's already raised pretty high. You might have to adjust a little bit higher to try to achieve that target boost level. Okay, so keep that in mind. Best thing to do is when you're first starting driving the car around is just go to your start duty. Keep this screen on here. And adjust your third gear up and down a little bit. You can go up a little bit if you want to try to get a little bit higher boost, a little boost spike or something like that. Go up to, do it in increments of 1 or no more than 2% at any time, because 2% can make a pretty big difference, believe it or not. So don't ever adjust it too much. Don't go from 9% to like 15. I guarantee you you'll spike way too high. So do it in increments of 1 or 2 at the maximum. Just leave it on that screen, and then you give it a nice, kick, in third gear when you're on the highway or wherever, somewhere safe, and then just check your boost on your boost gauge over here and just see what your target boost is. And that's the easiest way of doing it, setting your boost levels. Fourth gear, you can always, you can adjust up or down as well, if you want to. And then, of course, fifth gear, I have it -15%. I'm not sure why I ended up deciding -15. I think I probably just didn't want it to, since there's a lot of load in fifth gear, especially when you're cruising around like 70, 75, and you smash the gas, it tends to ramp up a little too fast, and the solenoid can't keep up. So basically makes it a little less sensitive by having it down by like -15%. So I know that was a lot. Hopefully you can reference this video and maybe kind of make a little more sense of it. But pretty much bottom line is, you want to just kind of play with the start duty to begin with, and make sure that you're not over boosting, or you're kind of boosting where you want to, and just reference your PSI gauge over here to the left. And of course check your AFRs, make sure your AFRs aren't getting crazy or anything like that. There shouldn't be anything more than mid 12s is pushing it. Randy likes to keep them in the high 11s, low 12s at the maximum. So definitely make sure that they're staying around there. And then once you get a hang of it, you can play with your boost a little bit, raise your boost up or down. You have 2 maps here. Setting A and setting B. Setting B, let me see what's the boost. So setting B, I have a higher boost on this one. Boost setting is at 1.6, so that's about 23 psi, I believe. Duty cycle, totally different on this one. You can see the duty cycle is quite different. It ramps up really high, so I'm trying to build a lot of boost really low down where you have a lot of turbo lag, and then when it ramps up around 4,000, I drop the duty cycle way down, because otherwise if I have this way up, it's going to overshoot the boost and it's going to spike crazy high. So you have to, it's a little trial and error. Make sure you got some 100 octane in there when you're playing with this. That's what I've always done, just so you're safe with the motor, and in case you spike, you're not going to worry about detonation or anything like that. So whenever you're goofing around with this, I always suggest putting some 100 octane in, and just better safe than sorry. let's see here. So the duty cycle for that one, and then the start duty is also different for that one as well. So you can see first and second is -50, and third I have +50, fourth I have +30, fifth I have +20. So it's a completely different way of mapping it, the way I've done it on map 2. So you really do have to play with it sometimes to get the results that you want to get. I have included right here setting A and setting B, and the duty and the boost and the target boost, and what worked well for me to get smooth boost and consistent boost with the boost controller. Now, depending on your conditions, your atmospheric conditions, it could change. I don't know what the weather is like out in Missouri, what altitude you're at, or how cold it is and that kind of stuff. If it's cold out, 40 degrees, 50 degrees out, you're going to be looking at, higher boost, easier to overboost in colder weather than it is hot weather. Lower altitudes is the same story, easier to boost higher than at higher altitudes where the air is thinner. So you got to keep that in mind. You're going to probably have to fine tune it a little bit. Since I've tuned this for 75-degree weather, it was or 70-degree weather here, kind of in the winter time, in Phoenix, which is about we're about 1,400 feet above sea level. So you're just gonna have to fine tune. Like I said, start out with the start duty and goof around with that, and then once you start getting more comfortable with the boost controller, start messing with the more advanced settings. They've got some pretty good tutorials online to mess with this stuff too, but hopefully I've tried to, hopefully I've covered the basis of what you need to do. The etc. setting, you don't really need to change anything there. That kind of is just little extra options for the thing here. Sensor check, brightness, initialize, blah, blah, blah. I've set pretty much everything up for this car already. You just need to play with the boost at this point. If you're really uncomfortable and you just want to play it really safe, like I said, you can always turn off the boost controller by pushing the left button when you select setting. Go to the left and it goes off, and then right is A, and B is high boost. Okay, that's it. So if you have any questions, you can always hit me up, and I'll be happy to give you some feedback or answers, anything that I can answer on the car. One other thing you probably want to do is just make sure you're constantly checking the oil every 1,000 miles, because if you're boosting really hard, you're going to get oil consumption. The PCV valve will spit into the intake manifold, and you're going to consume oil that way. So just make sure you don't let the oil get low on it, of course, and you want to run 5W30 synthetic, fully synthetic. So mobile 1 is what I recommend. FS Works, I think, put some other stuff in there, Molly's something, I don't know what they put in there, but it's on the receipts that I've got included here in this folder. Everything that I kept. It's not full comprehensive receipts that I had of the car, but it's a pretty decent amount of them. Probably about 70% of the ones that I've actually of what I've done to the car. Yeah, so just have fun with the car. She'll treat you pretty well as long as you're make sure you're checking your oil, and I probably would suggest changing the oil when you get the car in, just so you know exactly when you started with a fresh batch. And you could put, I think, 5.5 quarts in this, 5.25 to 5.5, because it's got the balanced shafted lead on it. So if you have any other questions, let me know. But hope you enjoy the car. It's been great to me. It's been a good 8 years in this car. I've had a lot of fun with it, and I wish her well. I hope you're able to enjoy it as much as I have, and that you are able to keep it for a long time. And if you ever decide you want to sell it, hit me up. I never know where I'll be. Maybe I'll miss it and I'll want it back. So as long as it's back in one piece. So that said, have fun with it. Okay, take care, man. Bye.